Welcome to the Divorce Diaries podcast. One man's anonymous and live account of if he should get a divorce or stay married. He's been cheated on, and he's cheated. Protecting the innocent with changed voice patterns, the omission of names, ages, and genders. His authentic journey and account of the daily events of his marriage are helping him sort out his feelings and not get lost in the ups or the downs. New episodes are released daily. Welcome to the Divorce Diaries podcast. Entire seasons are released on Patreon weeks before anywhere else at Divorce Diaries Podcast Patreon page. Link in description. Now for today's episode.
It's cool having someone in your corner that looks out for you. I'm going to have to negotiate this relationship and how it can best grow and how I can allow for the nuances of change and also allow my daughter to continue to express herself. And what I found out is, as she sees it, I'm getting close with another woman, a woman that's not her mom. The divorce is almost final, and I haven't been with or around or dated or anything like that anyone. I haven't. For the most part, I've been in the camp of women ain't shit. Gosh, they're dumb and they just want to take. You know, you go through those different phases until you get to the into the stage of acceptance and meaning making. I just learned that from a wonderful parenting class that I had to take in my home state for divorce. It was court-ordered parenting class. And I totally understand why we have an extremely toxic and non-fulfilling relationship for either of us as co-parents. And I believe that if my ex could have her way, I wouldn't be able to see my children. And I know for sure I can tell you that my soon-to-be ex-wife should be able to see her children once they have their own opinions, because I find her to be distastefully tactless, and I find her to be tactless, classless, and I'm not saying this because I'm trying to take shots at her. I'm saying this because when you consume alcoholic beverages with a minor child, you're negligent. And only my youngest child was able to kind of tell me, like, yeah, you know, they've had that together, the two of them. And I'm like, oh man, when you've got a teenage child who's a minor and their mom, they're having drinks together, isn't that how every Lifetime movie starts? Or something, Unsolved Mysteries or something on the ID network. The wayward, negligent mom that's really looking for a friend in her daughter, corrupts her by doing drugs with her and has that bullshit excuse of, well, I'd rather they get drunk with me than drunk on their own. I understand a lot of the things that bad parents tell themselves to convince themselves that what they're doing isn't so bad. But taking it back to my young child who says, you know, I'm very protective of you. She said that because she watched me, I guess, in her opinion, in her estimation, go through something that was sort of heartbreaking, go through a very trying time, go through a time where I was persecuted for things that I didn't do, and I was being lied upon and things like that, things I didn't even know were happening to me. My youngest, she knew that, hey, you're coming around these people, you're smiling, you're grinning, but they've been saying this and they're saying that. And in fact, she used to try to take me to task, and she's like, why the hell did you do this, Dad? Why'd you say that? Mom said you did this or you did that. And I'm like, that's interesting. I didn't say this. And in fact, I just got off the phone with your mom earlier, and we've made plans to go out and have drinks in secret behind you guys' back, because in my mind, I don't want to get my kids' hopes up that mom and dad are getting back together when we may not get back together. So, I don't know. It was tough to find out that my soon-to-be ex-wife was bashing me, lying, crafting and narratives and painting pictures of things that were not real so that my children would hate me, basically. And one of my children believed that narrative fully. One of my children believed that narrative fully. My youngest said, "That's not my dad." And it sounds like if that happened, you both must have done something pretty bad for you both to behave really badly. But my ex painted the picture that no, there's nothing I did. I had no ill thoughts, ill feelings, ill nothing, ill actions. Your father was just a rabid, vicious animal, and he did what rabid, vicious, violent animals do. That was the narrative crafted, unfortunately, for my very, very, very young child. And it's been a very unfortunate set of circumstances for her. But I believe she's a lot healthier, stronger, more poised, and she has more perspective than she did before. Her being able to have this well thought out, brilliant perspective is going to help her through life. And it's going to also help me. It did help me when she said that to me the other day, that I'm protective of you. You see, growing up, I didn't ever feel like I was protected by my family. My family, that my father and mom, they got a divorce as well, and I came from a broken home, and they always, without hesitation, they valued each other and their own personal interests before their children. So there was a big sentiment of, hey, where am I? Where do I belong? With all of this, with my family. And now, having my daughter tell me that she is protective of me, I realized that I didn't know what that was like. My parents weren't protective of me. My soon-to-be ex-wife wasn't protective of me. Most people will expose you if it benefits them. Most people will forget about you if it benefits them. If it helps them to do these things, they'll do it. It's a very tough situation just growing up and no one protecting you. And then finding that your youngest child, just a baby in the grand scheme of things, says that, hey, I want you to watch it with this person because I see that you like them and I see that they like you, but I'm protective of you. It made me feel so good, and it also introduced another layer to being a single dad. How important it is to not introduce your children to someone unless you're really serious. But also, even if you are really serious, understanding that making that introduction, your children may not like that person, even if you love them. And this is just me supposing. If I were to fall in love with a new person or something like that, wow, my kids may not like that person. My kids may be perceptive and they may see something in that person that I don't. My kids may just be immature kids that don't want their father to be with anyone else besides their mom, even if they may say, you and mom are no good for each other, and I'm happy that you guys are going to go your separate ways. But still, you're my daddy, and I love you. So it's very interesting. I'm sobered and happy, and it warms my heart to know that my child is protective of me. And now I just have to do the right thing to make sure that we're okay together. We're okay together.
Wow! That was the Divorce Diaries podcast. The Daily Saga will continue tomorrow. The full season's episodes are on Patreon now. Subscribe for early access. Click the Patreon link in the description. Hopefully, these entries help our anonymous recorder as a form of his own personal therapy. That's his hope and his intention. Will these recordings of life's curveballs lead this family to the best resolution in the end? We'll keep listening. New episodes are released daily on all podcast players, but all episodes are available on Patreon at Divorce Diaries Podcast Patreon page. Until next time.